So the WWE buried Cody Rhodes. A lot of you guys have been hitting me up on DM and want me to talk about this, so here we go, let's talk about it. Before we get to talk about all this about The Rock and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and WrestleMania and all this that's going on, we gotta look at two things, right? You gotta look at it from Kayfabe and you gotta look at it from the business spectrum. So we're gonna start with the business. And while it is great for business, it's not for the business that most of you guys are making content about. WWE does not need help selling WrestleMania. There's three things that WWE do not need help when it comes to selling an event, which is Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. Those are going to be sold regardless. WWE does not need The Rock to sell WrestleMania. The real business decision with having Cody wait to face Roman is Netflix. The casuals are always gonna show up for the three events that I mentioned: Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. When we move on to 2025 and we move on to Netflix, Roman versus Cody Rhodes could actually make sure that people show up on Netflix. This is where the real business behind having The Rock facing Roman comes in now. It has nothing to do with selling tickets for WrestleMania. WrestleMania sells itself yearly. It has never failed. This is why till this day we still get WrestleMania. For those of you thinking that The Rock versus Roman is a bigger draw than Cody versus Roman, you are completely wrong. This is the storyline that have kept everybody intrigued up to this WrestleMania. Now let's talk about kayfabe. There's a lot of things to unpack here because the fans have a lot to do with this. If you are a follower of any of my accounts, you know I respond to 90% of the comments I get. When The Rock came twice before this time and he hinted at Roman Reigns, about 85% of you were happy. All of a sudden now, you guys don't like the idea. I've never liked the idea of The Rock versus Roman. It doesn't make sense to me. There's no build up. There's really no story there other than their blood connection. Other than that, there's no story whatsoever between The Rock and Roman Reigns. Aside from that, when Seth gave Cody the idea, a lot of you guys also went crazy. If there's one thing we can learn from the past 2 years, WWE is actually giving us what we want. So there you go. Now you got what you wanted. No, I'm just fucking with you. I just had to throw that in there. So let's break it down. The idea up till now was CM Punk was going to face Seth, Roman was going to face Cody Rhodes. WWE did not count with CM Punk getting hurt at the Royal Rumble. That happening mess up the whole trajectory. It was obvious CM Punk was going to win at WrestleMania, therefore becoming the champion, giving Seth the time off that he needs to be able to work on his knees and all that stuff. But now we don't have no CM Punk. Seth still needs time off. If I was in the position of creative, believe it or not, I would have taken the same exact decision that WWE did, and this is why. Having Roman face The Rock and obviously winning helps Roman break a Hulk Hogan record. Aside from that, it gives us time to get into Netflix on 2025 so we could get this big match between Roman and Cody Rhodes. What to do in the meantime? Now Cody becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. This will help Cody's story elevate. I'm gonna tell you why. They did the play on Seth selling the belt as the best belt there is. They did the play where Roman shits on the belt. That's exactly what Roman did. Roman shit on the belt and shit on Seth at the same time. So this is what the story become compelling for Cody. Cody wins this bout, and Cody finally prestiges the belt the way Seth was supposed to do, which he couldn't. You could be the biggest Seth Rollins fans, and you have to admit, he did not prestige the belt, but Cody can make that happen. That gives him one more credit to his story. He grabbed the belt that was supposed to be a secondary champion, and he leveled it up to go head to head with the main champion. Now that he is this tap champion at Raw, and he is the #1 guy at Raw, the #1 champion, now let's face the other #1 guy and do exactly what he said he wanted to do in SmackDown. Take everything from him. And this is how Cody becomes the biggest babyface in the company once 2025 come in. And as much as some of you guys don't want to hear this, unify the belts and becomes the only champion. You have to keep in mind the only reason why we have the World Heavyweight Championship right now is because the USA Network wanted a champion for Raw. Because other than that, the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship are both held by Roman at the moment as the undisputed champion. As much as some of you guys are upset, the Roman versus Cody is not going to happen at WrestleMania. From a business and a kayfabe point of view, this might be the best choice they could do with what they have. A lot of the injuries that they're dealing with were not counted for. So to summarize and break everything down for you guys, because I know I rambled a lot. No, the decision for The Rock versus Roman got nothing to do with WrestleMania. It got something to do with the longevity of giving people what they want on Netflix, because they want to make sure that people are going to show up and they're going to be there when it comes to Netflix on 2025. 2. Kayfabe, it makes sense. Roman possibly beating The Rock and moving on to breaking Hogan's record. Meanwhile, Cody becomes the World Heavyweight Champion and becomes the #1 guy at Monday Night Raw and elevate the title to where it's not considered a secondary champion. Now you got two #1 guys. You're the champion of this brand, I'm the champion of this brand. Let's fight to become the face of the company. If you ask me, I think it's a great idea. What's your thoughts on this? Let's talk about it, because that's what you follow me for, or should follow me.